Hello, seventh grade students. Welcome back to this new and last unit of the school year. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write today's date on the top of your notes. Today is May 28th. And then we can call this one-step equations review. Okay? Because if you remember back in Unit 4, we did talk about one-step equations. But in this unit, we're going to get into two-step equations. So first, we're going to begin with reviewing one-step equations. So think back to the terms that we used when we talked about one-step equations. We talked about inverse operations. They undo each other, or they are the opposite operation. So if we think here, addition's inverse would be subtraction. And then subtraction's inverse then would be addition. Multiplication's inverse is division. And then finally, division's inverse is multiplication. So when you see those operations in your equations, you need to think, I need to do the opposite or the inverse of that operation. So if we look at this first one, it says 18 equals G plus 27. So you think we've got the little railroad tracks, whether you draw two lines down or one line down, does not matter. But then we look here, we have plus 27. So think, what is the opposite of adding 27? Well, the opposite of adding 27 would be subtracting 27. And remember, what we do to one side of the equal sign, we have to do that same thing to the other side of the equal sign as well. So that leaves us with a 0 here, and we have G equals, and then we take a positive 18 minus 27, and you get negative 9. Okay, that is your answer. Now you could also go through, there is a way to make sure that you could get 100% every single time by plugging in that negative 9. 18 equals negative 9 plus 27. 18 equals 18. And there we checked it. What about this one here? We've got a couple different operations within our equation. We've got x plus negative 12 equals 25. Well, if you think here, this plus a negative, we can rewrite that as subtraction. So our equation is really x minus 12 equals 25. So we think, well, what operation do we have within our equation here? We have minus 12. And the opposite of subtracting 12 is adding 12. So we add 12 to both sides of our equal sign to keep our equation balanced. This gives us 0 right here, and we're left with x equals 25 plus 12 is 37. So x equals 37. Now again, we can check our answer by plugging it back into our original equation. 37 minus 12 is 25. 25 equals 25, and there we checked we did it correctly. All right, this third one here. We have 6y equals 42. Well, when you have a number and a variable that are right next to each other with no written operation, think, what does that mean? What's happening between that 6 and that y? If you thought that there's multiplication in there, you are correct. So then we have to think, well, what is the inverse of multiplying, or the opposite of multiplying? It is dividing. So we could divide both sides by 6. Okay. 6 divided by 6 is 1, so that's like saying 1y equals, and then 42 divided by 6 is 7. So we have y equals 7. If we plug it back in to check it, we could say 6 times 7 equals 42. 42 equals 42, and we did it correctly. And one more for today. We have this one, we have a over 3. Well, we have this little fraction bar right here, okay? What does that fraction bar represent? Which operation? If in your head, if you're thinking that it represents division, you are absolutely correct. Nice work. So we have a divided by 3 equals -9. So the opposite then of dividing by 3 would be to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, we can multiply by 3. Those cancel out. We're left with a equals, and then -9 times 3 is -27. So a equals -27. If I plug that back in, I can check my answer. We could say -27 divided by 3 equals -9. -9 equals -9, and we did that correctly. I hope that brings back some memory for you of solving equations. But as always, remember that if you have any questions or you're feeling lost or you need a refresher from your teacher, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us help you. Okay, I hope you all are staying safe and have a wonderful rest of your day.